Welcome to Wanderlusting Lawyer. Today I'm going to talk to you about emotions on the Camino de Santiago, and specifically, is it normal to experience a roller coaster of different emotions? I think when people join, the Camino Facebook groups and everything, you hear so many, and probably from this channel, you hear so many rosy versions of the Camino that are being painted. And it's, if you start your Camino and you're not loving it, or if you're having mixed feelings, you're excited, but you're also super nervous, you might be feeling like you're kind of an outlier. Oh, I should be loving this experience. I should be so grateful. Why am I feeling this way? Doesn't make any sense. And I'm here to tell you that a roller coaster of emotions is so normal. This is a primitive experience. Like, your body is able to feel emotions really purely without being distracted by a lot of the normal stimuli we have in life, right? Like jobs and family and the hustle and bustle of technology and daily life and things like that. So I think for me, at least, that kind of, once that's all stripped away, my body was just allowed to experience things in my mind in the way that it's meant to. So, I wrote down a list of the different things I felt at different times, just to kind of give you a sense of what can go through your mind and how it's totally normal. I don't know if I talked to anybody that just loved every single moment of every day and never experienced any sort of fear or doubt or sadness or pain or anything like that. I'm sure there are some people, but I think, like I said, even my worst, scariest experiences on the Camino, like the dog attack that I talk about in one of my prior videos, I don't look at that the same now, right? It doesn't cause the same fear for me now as it did then. So, though everything that's after the fact needs to be taken with a grain of salt. But I mean, even on my first Camino in the Francés, which is, I'll share the experiences from that one because it was my first one, it was my first hiking experience. I mean, I experienced everything from a complete apprehension before setting out. I was so nervous. I did not even know if I could walk an hour with my pack, let alone 34 days. I was very, very nervous before I set out. And then by the end of the day, I was filled with elation. Like, I made it to Horizon. It was a gorgeous June day. I was sitting out on the terrace, looking out on the Pyrenees Mountains, having a beer with other people who were just starting the same journey. It was, one of the best feelings of my life. And then, then you are filled with happiness because you meet your Camino family and you're walking and you're sharing the joy with them. And then maybe you're sad because they break off and they either get on a different schedule than you, or they're ending the Camino sooner than you are. What else did I feel? Total awe at the beauty of my surroundings, like not being able to imagine that I was seeing this live. To then utter boredom at another day of putting one foot in front of the other and seeing the same sight I had seen for the past 3 days. Frustration at getting lost, because I also got lost on the Camino de Santiago. I talk about that in a video, and just feeling totally angry with myself and, then walking too quickly to make up for what I did and causing myself blisters. Which leads to then despair from constant blister pain. The only time I cried on my Camino Francés was because I had such a bad blister on my toe. I've talked about pinch blisters in some of my videos that I get when I hike. I remember thinking, if it's like this every day, I can't do this. I can't finish. I can't walk in this pain every day. And that led to doubt in my ability to finish the Camino. And then that was really where I had to struggle with my emotions and put trust into my ability to put mind over matter. I remember that same day rolling up to a bar for, second breakfast, and the bar tender, not the bartender, but the guy who worked at the cafe or whatever, he just saw it in my face and he asked if I wanted a shot of whiskey with my coffee. I've never had whiskey with coffee, and I said yes. And it was like I started walking again, and I don't know how much it was the whiskey or the mentality or the kindness or whatever, but I just like, my pain then left me alone for the rest of the day. And I was able to, like I said, put mind over matter. That led to then kind of the decision-making process to take a rest day, relief at my blisters healing, and trust that I was going to be able to make it, which led to the final week of my Camino just experiencing absolute pure joy from walking. I didn't want the days to end. I was so happy I wanted to keep going. I didn't want the experience to end. Then all of the sudden, 2 days before I was done, I was exhausted. I finished by, I think, noon that day. I took a huge nap. I was feeling so depressed. I was trying to figure out what the point of all of it was. I mean, this was like, I had one full day of walking left, and then the next day was Santiago. And just 2 days before that, I was the happiest I'd ever been walking. I was unexplainably exhausted. Even the morning as I was walking into Santiago, I was like falling asleep on the walk, needing coffee. And then you reach the square in Santiago, you see the cathedral, and I mean, it's just like pride. I think you're filled with awe, but just so much pride in what you've accomplished. So that is my roller coaster. As you can see, it was very much like this, but I would not change any aspect of it. I think each of those emotions, each of those experiences really made it what it was for me. And now I know, going in next time, and my Camino Aragonés this past summer was similar in many ways, different in many ways. I had a lot more fear of getting lost and things because it's a much lesser traveled route. But yeah, just like if you can already know going in to expect these range of emotions, I think you'll be way beyond where I was, thinking it was all going to be, once I made it a day or two, oh, I can do this, it's going to be great, this is the best experience ever. And just knowing that, you won't have always the greatest days. And there may be days, if you're like me, where you say, yeah, this is great and all, but I don't know how anyone can do this again. And then you realize that you do it again and again because something calls to your soul. And I think part of it is, like I said, there's this primitive experience where you get to have all these emotions. They're not like dulled by what, we need to have this face and present this persona in our daily life. You can just be you. So with that said, leave any questions, comments below about what you experienced when you were walking the Camino. And as always, muy buen camino.